This meeting of the Long Branch City Council workshop to order.
Mrs. Billings? Here. Mr. Pallone?
Here.
Mr. Sirianni?
Yeah.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mrs. Vistelli?
Here.
And I hereby certify this meeting has been published in the newspapers in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Great. We're going to begin today's session with a presentation by Kevin Hayes on kids film.
So I sent
The
you,
inner child is gonna come out.
allegedly. So I sent you all this packet. We were approached by the vendor that currently does the beach chairs and umbrellas. He has this concept of running a kids' activity center on the beach. So I met with Stan and Danny and Dave Spalding, and we talked about it. And essentially, we want to know if you think if it's a good idea, we would have to go out to bid for it, same as we did for the chairs and umbrellas. It would involve a small area that Stan would designate on 2 beaches, and they would set up this kids' activity center and charge admission, however they would charge for.
$20 an hour.
Yeah.
Which 2 beaches?
My wife might pay that for me to go.
Yeah, I pay, we'd all.
Stan, which 2 beaches were you talking about?
Pavilion Avenue, right to the, just to the south of Pavilion, near where Washington Manor is, in that area down there before the volleyball courts. That's usually a quiet area for us, that we can get them in there, and then further down between Bath Avenue, North Bath Avenue, South Bath Avenue. Because everywhere else between the cabanas and the volleyball and everything else, it just wouldn't work. So there's plenty of space there for them, and they could do, basically, set up the area, block off the area, do what they want there.
So the city would designate the area and the size, and they would be responsible to, and the successful bidder, of course, would be responsible to follow the regulations that we set forth in the bid specs.
Would it be a daily thing or just a couple days a week?
I think they were talking about a daily thing.
Yeah, and if that didn't seem like it was going, definitely Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the weekend. I think it's a good idea because the kids are always down there and they're always over the play activity areas for us, the boats and all that. The parents are always looking, asking questions, is there anything else they can do and stuff like that. So I think it may fly if it's done right.
It's an innovative idea.
Yes, it is.
And parents may really enjoy some quiet time with their children.
Yeah.
I mean, without their children on
Yes.
the beach
Yes.
for an hour or 2.
My big concern, my main concern is what type of insurance liability are they?
Yeah, we'd run that past our risk manager, and similar to what the vendor does for the umbrellas and things like that, they have to provide us
Yeah, well,
insurance
this is a
identified by
little
the
bit
city.
more taking somebody's skin.
Yeah, we get the advice on how to
And
do
losing
this.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
there would have to be a waiver involved, I imagine, right? And then they.
I don't know that you can get a child to sign a waiver.
Well, the
That
parent,
would
I
be-
guess that would drop it off.
I don't think the parent can sign a waiver for a child either that would be effective. My concerns here is that you're talking $20 per hour per child. So if you sign the child up for activities for 3 hours on a Saturday morning, that's $60 for people that are being charged, what, $20, $10 to get on the beach for the entire day. And
The $20.
the bid would have to be, how low will that number be? And you'd have to put in the bid specs that you have the right to reject if you're not happy. So if this goes down to $7, $8 an hour per child, it may be okay to raise the number of children that you're going to take care of per hour.
They don't want to do that because they want to keep it to a certain amount of kids or a certain amount of counselors that they have to do that. They don't want to get into 30, 40 kids at a time.
I think
because
they want a lump
they
sum,
wanna-
just a
yeah.
lump sum bid, but they pay the city to do it and charge according to their schedule.
Yeah,
Are there any other companies around that do this, or is this?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
And the other concern I have is the insurance, and the insurance is going to have to be at least $1 million.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be I would imagine 5 million. I think
Maybe
we get more than
more.
1 million for special events, so
But,
if you want us to have Dave draw up specs and put it out to bid, we would consult with
I'm
the risk
concerned
manager.
over the, I thought 20 was high. Multiple children it's gonna gouge.
It is high.
Yeah, you got a family of 3 or 4 kids that come down to the beach, and one goes and 2 does, and next thing you know, it's $60, $80
I mean,
an hour.
I would be fine if they lowered. I just don't want to 40, 50 kids at one time because it's not going to be controlled properly. Just isn't.
It tends enough.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
the
yeah.
bid specs could say, we demand one
Right, yeah.
counselor for every 5 children or 4 children, whatever we deem, or the police department, whatever deems to be appropriate.
We utilized that when we did the surf camp, so we can set, there was a certain ratio that we
Yeah.
required. We also probably want certain certifications, CPR, whatever we think of the concerns is. We did that.
Background checks on the individuals who are going to be the counselors, so you make sure
Absolutely.
you don't have potentially
Chester, Leicester.
people on probation, people who have just gotten off probation, depending upon what offenses they may have been convicted
There's a
of,
lot-
etc.
Maybe it's my principle, but I agree with you. Just turning over a kid.
They would need to have some kind of a security system for children to be picked up.
Is this in a quarter, what do they envision? Under a tent in a quarter?
No, they're just we're gonna give them, I really don't have all the specifics right now, but we're gonna give them area on the beach. It's gonna be roped off. Parent, by what they just told us real quick, I mean, we only went for a half hour because we wanted to get your approval to go further. And the parent would sign the child in, child would get a wristband on with name and all that. Then the parent would have to come back, show the ID to receive the kid, to take the kid back.
And how would they keep the child within their parameters?
The counselors would do that within the roped-in areas. It's like sand castles and stuff like that. And they would not be taken to the water to go swimming or anything like that. It would be events up on the beach in that one area. Other than that, I don't have a lot of different answers for you because we haven't really pursued it that far. We wanted to make sure you guys were okay with going a little further on it and getting some more information and doing what we wanted to
So we have
do.
to write bid specs for it.
Yes.
So it's not something that,
Do you have age?
5 to 10.
5 to 10?
But if you're not comfortable with it, we'll just pass on it.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I just think we've got the parameters.
I think it's a good idea, but I think some of that needs to be worked on. The parameters.
Well, you would need to tell us what parameters you want in order for us to write the bid.
I'd like the cost to come down a little bit. Now, they're talking about 2 activity supervisors, so they're talking 2 supervisors with 10 children, which I think is pretty fair.
You're right.
But have the, an ID program or something
Well, what
for
program?
something for the employees. We need to have like a background check and stuff.
Absolutely.
What about an age for the employees as well? I mean, like some of these camps have junior campers who are like 13.
Like I say, we didn't design the
Yeah.
camp, we just giving you the concept, and if you want the concept, we'll put it out to bid, so.
Kimmy, what would the waiver, like, in other words, let's say a parent drops off a child, so the waiver would hold the company not responsible as well as the city of Long Branch? How would that work?
No, he's saying there wouldn't be.
I don't think a waiver under these circumstances would ever hold up in court if someone was hurt after doing an activity. Suppose you got 5 and 10-year-olds, they interact with each other.
Right.
Somebody can go smack the other kid, somebody go throw sand in somebody's eye, and then the next thing you know, they're off to the hospital. The city's going to get sued in this as a party. As soon
Regardless
as
of any waiver, regardless of
regard-
a parental signature.
100% correct, 100% correct. And
But that's true for anyone who goes on our beaches.
that's exactly
I mean,
right.
we have the surf camp, but that's, to me, seems even more dangerous.
But
as
they're all,
kids are out in the water.
they're older people. You've got
Older children, you
older
mean?
children, yeah.
They're not much older. They're
How
young.
much older?
young
Well, they're there for one activity though, right? They're there for surfing. And they're taught
In
how
the
to
water.
surf.
Right, in the water.
And I'm not, so we've never had a claim, so.
We can use that as a guide if you like. If you decide we want to go forward, we can look at the parameters that you wanted to look around the surf camp, because I know there's a lot of different parameters there. They had to be certified swimmers and different things that you guys want to put in place. I think all those people are over 18 years of age too, I believe.
They count the teachers. The teachers at the surf camp are
Yes.
all.
You want us to look at the, so far I got 3 items, the cost, the age of the counselors, and background checks. Is there anything else that you want incorporated in there?
Any
And the insurance.
certification needed for camp counselors or anything like that?
I wouldn't know, that'd have to be researched.
And the insurance.
I think, look, it's a good idea, it's something to explore. It can be done
Just cover all
quickly.
bases.
We just have to make sure that we cover all the bases.
So we'll
that
go through this.
We're not hung out.
And
we'll dry.
we also
Come up with
told.
a draft set of, a draft bid proposal, and we'll circulate it to you if you want to proceed with it.
I think it should be a security area as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think roped off sounds very good to me.
How would you
Well,
secure the
I
area?
don't know, a
You don't
push
want,
fence?
you don't want to put up a, no,
Yeah.
considered a pen, no.
So the problem with the fence,
Well,
let me explain to you, the problem with the fence is that they rake the beach every
Beach
day.
rake.
So you have to remove the fence.
right.
Which would be a monumental task.
Mhm.
You look how we put, fence, snow fence up and things like that, it's a several hour a day job. That's why we went with the rope it off, then they remove the ropes daily, we go in, rake the beach.
What's going to
Beach.
prevent the kids from going under the rope?
The supervisor.
That's
Scout
their-
ships.
That's what you're paying them to do, that's.
I think it's a good idea.
I
As
mean-
an attorney, I've just got to look at the negative side of this. If nothing happens, and it all works smoothly, I become irrelevant. It's only when something happens that somebody looks at the lawyer and said, why didn't we think of this? What did we just do? So I just want to
So
be
their
careful.
concept is, Kevin, then one counselor per 5 children. I suppose that's how they keep an
Yeah, that's
eye
what it
on
says in
and
there.
control.
That's what we can request. to
So
make
if
it-
you got,
make it-
if you got larger than that,
Right.
then, the more kids you get, the more you have the chance of.
Right.
Age limitation in there?
5 to 10.
5 to 10.
Yes.
5 to 10 years old, maximum of 10 children per group per hour.
And 2 counselors.
I don't see where it says that.
It says it under the operational plan, it says it's set up a tent, and then it says the cashier, assistant
Oh, yeah,
customers, and
so-
2 activity
So,
supervisors.
so two supervisors per group of 10 is what they're
Just make
saying.
sure that's in there as well.
Well, you want to bring it back to us and we'll have another look at it?
Only if you want me to. It's
Yeah.
up to you guys.
Yeah, this
I
is
think
just
so.
preliminary, just to see what you guys will like.
Come up with a set of specs and see
Yeah.
if you guys are.
Mhm.
That's what we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion.
Okay, we have our review of a regular meeting agenda. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to answer tonight?
I'd like to, and I communicated with Rob this morning, but I'd like to just go over this peer application and the reason we're doing this.
Sure.
I thought it was new money, but it's not.
No. So back in the February timeframe, I'd been contacted by the Federal Transit Administration's regional program manager. They're our liaison for this project. They were looking for the original resolution that was passed by council back in 2008 for the design work. And they were looking for 3 elements in that resolution. Specifically, they were looking, number one, did the governing entity have the authority to apply for it? The second was whether they had the authority to create an executory or cooperative agreement, or and three, that we would also provide certifications and assurances on how we would actually operate the contract. I did find the original resolution. The good news is that 2 out of the 3 things they were looking for were actually included in the master agreement that was eventually signed. The only thing it was missing was, did the governing body have the authority to apply for the grant? And, one would think that's kind of assumed, but their legal counsel is saying that this is something that should be, on record, that you have the authority to file for the grant application.
You're really memorializing the original application by doing this. Apparently it was left out and went undetected by whomever at the FTA till now. Now they see it and they're, they gotta redo it to put that in.
So the money that's in there, we've pretty much been awarded already. This is just memorializing it.
I believe so.
Well, so as I explained to you before, because of the de-obligation, it has not been re-awarded. We are operating in a status known as pre-award authority that basically just says we're kind of going through the bureaucratic steps to, close this out and award the grant monies again. Because what we had to do in order to get the remainder of the grant monies from the original project was that we actually had to close it out. And that way, Mike was able to, download it and have the transaction, come into our accounts. Anyway, this is just the next step in just getting us, officially awarded.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer at this time.
But this is the same group that was selected by the redevelopment committee to use these funds. Is that correct, Michael? In other words, not McLaren, sorry?
It wasn't necessarily a redevelopment committee that did it. It was a committee that was formed, not necessarily a redevelopment committee, but the review committee was.
Right, but what I'm saying is a group has been selected.
Yes.
Correct.
So this money would pay for that group to execute what the plan was.
Additional work.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to get,
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Kevin, I just had a question on the 7717, which is the expansion of the place liquor license at the...
What's your question?
So, what are they doing? I mean, there was a little drawing there about...
So, after, I don't know, 25 years, the ABC questioned that they're serving alcohol on the beach. When they had, we had permitted it since the hotel was open through the redevelopers agreement. So what we have to do is expand the licensed premise to include the beach area. That's what it is. It was never done officially, apparently by council. We had relied on a redevelopment agreement from 1988 or something.
So in other words, that memorializes that the hotel can have an event on the beach and serve alcohol?
Well, the developers agreement allows them the use of the beach. ABC wanted something that extended the licensed premises to include the beach. It's the same as we do with outdoor dining permits. That people want to serve out in the outdoor dining, council extends the licensed premise to include that area.
Okay.
And that's essentially what we're doing.
So go beyond the beach in terms of the premises on their property as well?
No, they already have it on their property, it's the beach.
So this is just for the beach?
Correct. It's already included out where the tiki bar is out there.
Yeah, I was curious because, Jay, if you don't mind, remember there was when they were originally proposing some designs for expanding the outdoor area there, and you had some concerns about where alcohol might be served in that new configuration.
Right.
Does any of this
Nothing to do with that. That's
into that?
No, that's the
So it's a separate issue.
That was a plan for a tiki bar and how they would contain them within their property.
Okay.
This is strictly extends the premise to include the beach.
Okay.
That's all it is. Doing nothing more than they've been doing for, I don't know, 30 years.
We had talked about them securing the area on the beach as well.
Well, they're responsible to keep their patrons within the defined area, yes. But securing it, then you fall into DEP doesn't want fences and things like that. So the onus is on them as the licensee to make sure that those folks stay within the defined area.
And I don't remember ever having an issue down there. Never. With them, ever in the 22 years that I've been.
I don't know what prompted ABC to come up with this. I think someone was here, right, Kat? Didn't someone come down here one time and saw them drinking on the beach? And like, oh my God, they're drinking on the beach. And I said, yeah, they've been doing it for 30 years. So we're just legitimizing it.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
On the SOA agreement, there's a couple of, I want to say typos. Section 17, Article 17, Section A, 4 lines down, it says form, it should say from. If you read it. I don't have a copy, wouldn't you? And ordinance 7-18, in the 7th paragraph, there's a duplication of effort of the words there. It's duplicated twice.
7-17, that's
Huh?
7-17?
Yeah. You see it?
No, I don't have the ordinance.
Okay. And then if I could just ask Mike to explain the 3% cap that you've asked us to approve instead of the 2. I think I know what it's for, but I'd like to hear it again.
It's an expansion of the 2% cap to 3.5%.
Yeah.
And it also, this ordinance establishes a cap bank. So if we don't use the full amount of the 3.5%, we can cap it, it could bank it and use it for next year if needed.
In case of emergency?
Emergencies or unforeseen next year, budget appropriations, something like that. It's a bank. We haven't used all of our bank in previous years, but it's a precautionary measure.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Okay, I need a motion to, okay, the next motion here.
Close the
I need a
workshop.
motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I also need a motion to adopt a resolution to go into executive session for the following items. Personnel matters, local 152, update blue and white collar, contract negotiations, Ocean Gate, Lux, Pier Village 3, property acquisition, 102 South Broadway, Millennium Strategies, and litigation, AJ Laporte.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Billings?
Yes.
Mr. Plum?
Yes.
Mr. Siriani?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Bastelli?